I came back. I had a lot of fun doing that video yesterday, and the editing was a really huge pain in the ass, but I wanted to do another one because it was actually a lot of fun. So I thought I could tell the story of the chess sitter from San Diego and some of the other stories from that house. That house was really active towards the end of the time that I lived there. In the beginning, the first thing I noticed was the light, like the overhead ceiling light in the living room. We had only lived there about 2 weeks and everybody was out of the house. I was there alone. That one was really weird because I noticed the bulb or the light just dim, and I'm looking at it, and so I was videoing it because I was gonna show it to Joe when he got home to say, you know, is this like the lights going out, bad wiring, whatever. And I'm staring at it and I noticed like a shadow over to the side, and when I pan the camera I go back up to the light and then I go, hello? And as soon as I do that, the light goes really bright and then goes back to normal. And the voice kind of gets metallic-y sounding. It was very weird. Hello? Hello? And to me, I mean, sure, again, explainable, of course, like the wiring is shitty, whatever. The next thing I had go on there was I couldn't sleep one night, and we had a couch up against the wall, like, so you enter the house, there's like this little hallway, and then there's a door directly to your right that goes into the living room. Well, the couch was up against the wall to the, you know, to the hallway, duh. And I couldn't sleep, so I've got the TV on, but the sound off. I just wanted the light, you know, just to kind of try to fall asleep to. And I hear voices. I know, story of my life. But these voices were directly behind me in the hallway. And there were 2 males. And I'm listening and I'm straining because I think, okay, maybe it's somebody outside, or maybe it's, you know, I mean, it's 11 o'clock at night. I don't know why 2 people would be standing on my doorstep having a conversation, but it's San Diego, so who knows. But I can hear the origination of the voices are directly behind me on the other side of the wall. And anytime I hear ghosts, I can't understand what they're saying. It always sounds like a radio on in the next room. It sounds like words, but you can't pick out what they're at. It's kind of mumbly. Excuse me. And this was the same thing, only I was really straining to listen because it was like I could almost grasp a word, almost. And there was a short part of the sentence that I did understand, and I was so excited because it was for the first time I actually understood what they were saying. You know, I actually heard actual words and formulated the sentence, like I knew what they said. And I'm replaying that phrase in my head over and over and over because I don't want to forget, because I always do. And I'm laying there and I think I'm gonna see if I can see them. So I slowly like get up and like try to like crane my head around the doorway to see if I could see who they are, but I couldn't. The thing is, as soon as I poked my head into the hallway, the voices stopped. Almost like they saw me, almost like they were just having a conversation and then they saw me and they were like, oh, you know. And then I heard the voices travel down the hallway towards the garage, but more in like a hushed tone. Almost like they were like, hey, like, let's just go, you know, like they didn't want me to hear them or something. And it's almost like they just went into the garage and had their conversation. that was very distinctive because I could hear the voices traveling away from me. And as soon as they disappeared, I completely forgot what they said. It was almost like the second they quit talking and I couldn't hear them anymore, it was like somebody flashy thinged me or something. And I was like, no. And I tried to think, like, what was it? Like, what was the gist of what they were saying? Couldn't remember. Totally wiped out of my head. It was pretty quiet after that. A thing here, a thing there, nothing really worth remembering. And then, excuse me, February. It was February of this year, 2019. I was going to bed, and for some reason, I wanted to go to sleep listening to YouTube. And I had one of these in this ear, and then my head was on the pillow. So it was pretty muffled. You know, my hearing was pretty blocked, and like I could still obviously hear things outside of it because, you know, but I had just fallen asleep, and I hear this loud crash. Like I had just fallen asleep, and it was like a huge, like a bang crash, and it woke me. Like I didn't open my eyes because anytime something scary happens and it shocks me awake, like I refuse to open my eyes because it's like I'm afraid to see what it is or who. And I'm laying there completely paralyzed in fear because I don't know. I'm spinning through my head. I'm like, did the kids knock something downstairs? Was this in my room? Like, where is this noise? Is somebody breaking in? Is it a burglar? You know, and I'm just laying there completely, my heart is about to explode out of my chest, but I still don't have my eyes open. And all of a sudden, Joe, on this side of me, starts freaking out. I would say, like, not violently, not like thrashing, but he's like jilting like this and like kicking and like he's struggling or something. And I shoot up, like, what the, oh, because he's also making like noises like no, but he's not like swinging. And I'm afraid to almost do anything because, you know, when people are like sleepwalking or whatever, you're not supposed to wake them up because they could attack you or whatever. But I sit up and I'm like, I put my hands on his chest, just like on the side, and I'm like kind of shaking him like, hey, like, wake up, what's going on? And he keeps just like tight fighting. I don't know, it was really weird. It was just like this, like he couldn't move or something. That lasted probably 10 seconds. It seemed like forever. And no matter how much I shook him or tried to talk to him or just wake him up, like he wouldn't. So finally, and I'm screaming at him at this point. I'm like, what stop, wake up. And finally he does, but he just lays there. Like I see him relax and his body stops like convulsing, and he just stops and he's like, and I was like, what happened? What was that? And he just puts his arm over his face and he's like almost hyperventilating. And I'm still trying to talk to him and he won't respond at all for like another 20 seconds. And finally, when he did, he said something was on me. And I said, yeah, me. That was me. I was waking you up. He goes, no, I could feel where you were. And I could feel something else on my chest. And I'm like, oh God, it's a chest sitter. Because I've known people who have chest sitters. And it's a scary thing, you know. People, you know, the whole sleep paralysis, it's all made up in your head. Like, I've never experienced, but I don't think it's fake at all. Especially now, because this is a person who he is not interested in ghosts. He doesn't care. He's like my mom. He doesn't want any part of it. So it's not like he would just make something up for shits and grins, you know? He couldn't talk for a good, like, 3 minutes or something, and I'm trying to dig out of him, like, what did it feel like? What did you see? And he wouldn't say anything. He goes, I don't know. It was dark. It was dark. It was on me. It was on me. I couldn't get it off. He said, I was awake the whole time. And the way he said that was like chilling, because I don't know. It was like he said it in this way of, to let you know I was awake the whole time, that it was happening. He goes, I was fully aware of you. I saw you, I felt you, I knew it was you, but there was something else on me. And I was like, oh, you know, so you didn't wake up halfway through it? He goes, no, as soon as I started fighting, it woke me up. Like, I was awake that whole time. Oh shit. So I sit up and I'm looking around the dark and I go, well, whatever it was took out my clothing rack on its way out. So, it was mine, a big clothing rack set up in the bedroom because I don't have enough closet space because I am a hoarder. And the clothing rack was up against the window. So it was like clothing rack, my vanity, this here, and then this guy, this makeup cart, was pretty much off to the side like how it is here. And the clothing rack had been toppled over, and on its way over hit this, and this spilled over. So that was the bang and crash that woke me up. Which I thought was the same thing that woke him up. You know, I thought maybe the shock of hearing the banging and crashing is what woke him up. So that's why it like startled him awake. No, he didn't even know. He said he didn't even hear the banging and crashing, which, okay, maybe he doesn't remember hearing it and he did register it, which is, you know, what threw him into his panic or whatever. I don't think so. He was very, like, he was shocked when I said, oh, whatever it was took my clothing rack on its way out, just like very matter of fact. And he sits up like this, it's still in the dark, and he is just staring like, oh my God, like, you know, that threw him into another panic almost. I do have pictures of that because as soon as I turned on the light, I checked pictures of the damage. Now, the clothing rack was pretty full. Yes, it was. Did it just finally give out? Maybe. I mean, it had been sitting there for 2 years, never swayed, never did anything. And after we set it back up, he would like try to pull it towards him just to see how easy it would be to topple, you know, if the weight was what pulled it down finally after a few years. But he couldn't get it to come down. It would just kind of like sway towards him and then fall back into place. He had to actually physically grab both parts and kind of like jolt it to make it have enough force to want to come forward. You know, just a little push isn't gonna do it. So that is one thing that I can't really give an explanation to. Is it possible it just gave out? Yeah, sure, but I don't think so. The chest sitter, could it be his imagination? Maybe, probably not. Not the way he was fighting, that's for sure. After that, the ghost decided to communicate through the light again. So after February, and this hadn't happened since, or, you know, up until this point and it was only my bedroom light, sometimes the bathroom. So I would come into the bedroom and do whatever, you know, like I was doing the diamond painting. I would do various like activities. Sometimes the light would stay on. Sometimes it distinctly would try to communicate with me. I know I sound crazy, I know, but its pattern was like, it wasn't always like, oh, it dimmed, or oh, it flicked, or oh, it did this. Like, it would sometimes completely shut off, which I have video too. and then it would come on, or sometimes, like, it was always erratic, like it was a different pattern, and it would do it almost to communicate with me. Like, I would come in, turn on the light, and nothing, like, it would stay on, everything was fine, and then I'd just talk to it. I'd say, hey, are you here? And it would flicker. Like, I swear to God, one time I was watching Netflix and I'm like scrolling, and it became somebody I just talked to. Like, I just talked to the light ghost all the time. Sometimes it wouldn't talk back because it wasn't there. Sometimes it would answer. But the Netflix, I was picking something, and I'm scrolling through a bunch of stuff and just fucking around. I'm like, hey, you want to watch this? What about this? What do you think about this? And then I landed on something vampire, I don't know, and it flicked. And I thought, oh, you want to watch this? Okay. So I go to the next show. I'm like, how about this? Nothing. How about this? Nothing. I go back to the vampire show. How about this? Flick, 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 flick. I'm like, okay. Sometimes it would turn completely off and then flick and then come back on. Like, it was always different patterns. And we changed the light bulb. Again, sure, could it be like bad wiring? I guess everywhere I live just has really shitty wiring. Whatever. But it would also happen in the bathroom. Not as often, but there were times that, like, I would take a shower and the bathroom light would just flick, and I would like, okay, rude, you know, perv. So that was the San Diego ghost. There were a couple other things that happened, but really not worth really talking about. That night though, with the chest sitter knocking over the clothes rack and all there. Okay. Also, I realized I did not do my stupid Brandon tour. Well, I did, but I didn't get it in the video. So I'm gonna put that in this one too. So we'll do that next. Okay, so we're starting it off in here again. As you can see, this still works, and it's been working ever since. I mean, just those 2 times is when it didn't, and I'm telling you, it's Brandon. The pantry. This is the gate that the dogs got out of. This was wide open, but all 3 of them were still in their pen, and they had the bunny. I'm gonna show you that. Oh, so here's the garage. Yep, so the 2 things in here happened on the treadmill. Brandon doesn't like when I get on the treadmill, or he does, that's why he's my personal trainer. The first time was on here, run, 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 and I heard something behind me fall. Sounded like a bucket or something, but nothing fell, just crash noise, whatever. It did freak me out. So I turned off the treadmill and went out the garage. As you can see, there's nothing on the door, nothing like this, right? Well, when I poked my head out and I said, Brandon, was that you? I heard distinctly 2 knocks on this side of the door, like this. And nothing, it's not because I closed the door and something knocked. The second time was when he increased the speed. So this treadmill has a key, like they all do. And when you take it off, it always resets. Now, Ryan has been using the treadmill. I assumed, oh, he left it on a pre-workout. I didn't notice, whatever. And that's why it started, and I heard it beeping. So I had my hands here, both of them, and I heard beep, 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 and it started going faster. I'm like, what the hell? Because I keep this covered. Because when I put my phone on it, the interference with the phone and the electronics is annoying. So this kind of buffers it. So I didn't actually see it go up like that. So I figured maybe Ryan was on it last. He just left it on a pre-workout. I didn't notice, yada, yada, what have you. But I fiddled with it, and no matter what you put it on, as soon as you remove this key, it always goes back to default. And the key is always out. Ryan takes it out. I took it out. I know for a fact I put it in. So Yeah, that was Brandon. It increased like 3 levels. It wasn't just like a boop boop. It was like like it's crazy. He's my personal trainer. Okay. So those are the things that happened in here. And the pony slash pen escapade. So I come in from outside one day. I was out there, and I come in, and I see the gate is wide open. I'm like, oh, what the hell? So I go and I close it, and I notice, like, all 3 are in there, but I notice Aspen is wrapping her tail looking super guilty. And I think, that's weird. What does she have? Well, she has my bunny. So I take it from her, think nothing else, you know, maybe I just didn't close the gate on my way in, whatever, you know, and put the bunny back. So Joe asked me, well, wasn't that bunny on the floor or on the bed? I said, no, I think they were on the floor. So I came in here, and these 2 bunnies were like this. And the white bunny was still on the bed. And this is the one that I confiscated. That guy right there. I was going to show him where the bunnies' locations were, just because, I don't know, I've got nothing better to do with my life. And I was down here about to take a picture, but I didn't, because I thought, well, that's stupid. Like, why would you do that, right? So I didn't. Didn't think anything else of it. The next day, I'm sitting right here on the floor, putting on my shoes to get back on the treadmill. And I notice there is a pony. Now, pay attention to where the ponies are. They are all smashed together. They, you know, it was this one. So this was the pony. Do, 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 do. Who made its way in here. And I found it right there as I'm putting on my shoes. And it immediately catches my attention because it's bright yellow for one. And I think, oh, that for sure was not there the day before. Now, mind you, I was down here. I was going to take a picture. Like, I was all up in the bunny's face. I would have noticed that pony there the day before. And the day I did notice, because that's the bathroom. I pass by here all the time, you know. It was not there until 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'm the only one here. So I was pretty sure that was Brandon. One, because it wasn't there. That's my biggest reason. But there are no chew marks on this pony. And when I put the pony back, none of the other ponies were disturbed. If my dogs were going to grab this, they definitely would have knocked over all of these, and they would have momped this about 6 times before they brought it into the bedroom to drop it to take the bunny. So that was Ponygate. And that was that. It's my messy. Okay. I have not noticed really any activity in here. First time for everything, I guess. Right, Brandon? I'm just seeing if he wants to show up. But yeah. So, is that me? There's me. Me and the TV. Oh, yeah, that's my Brandon. I talked to him. He does like to move around, but then again, there's an air conditioner right there. So I'm not completely crazy. I understand things have reasons, you know. Hello. Hello, Aspen. I think Brandon bugs her too because sometimes she'll just growl and bark. One time she had her nose like up against the crack of the pantry door and she was just growling. Like, what in the hell? So that is that. You know, I really wish, oh, he didn't do anything yesterday either. Nothing I caught anyway. I noticed a little squiggly. It did not show up as well on the posted video. When I was editing it, I saw a little white wormy squiggly thing materialize and then like float up and away from me. And I tried to point it out, but once the video was posted, you could barely see it, and that was a bummer.